Real talk, raw faith, stay unfiltered. Welcome back to Echoes Unfiltered. I'm your host, Sam Stratton. Now, today I've got a friend from Dodgeville, Wisconsin with me. We served in the same unit. He's a fellow Army veteran. We weren't on the same deployment, but we came out of the same unit. We both know what it means to serve, come home, and figure out life on the other side. Tonight isn't anything scripted or polished. We're just having real conversations. We're going to talk about Jason's time in the military, his time after he got home, and what he's been doing since he's gotten back to help him heal and help him grow. Jason, I appreciate you being here, brother. Well, let's get into it. All right, I guess let's start off with the first question. Jason, for those who don't know you, who is Jason Madaus?
So, hey, great. Thanks for having me on here. I am Jason. I joined the military in 1997, February. Something I wanted to do just to be able to, I saw my cousin, he had joined the military, and I saw him in it. So that's what drove me to wanting to do it. So I am somebody that I will give everything I have and more. And then, we go forward and, be there for everybody, just like in the military.
Amen. That's right. Besides your cousin, what made you make the decision to join the military? Was there something in particular that happened, or just something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, for the longest, I don't think that I ever saw myself joining the military. And then when I was 17, I had seen that he had been in. I, heard some stories from him, everything like that. And I was like, I'm looking for something to, what I want to do in my future. And so let's do this. And so I talked to my parents and got them to help me sign up when I was 17 right away.
Now, did you do the split op program where you went after your junior year and then after your senior year, or did you just do it all right afterwards?
No, I did split up in a way.
Okay.
I joined. I went down to basic training between my junior and senior years, but 2 weeks into basic training, I was out running and I heard and felt a snap in my foot, and I just kept driving on for 3 days with it, running, marching, you name it.
Because nobody wants to go drill sergeant. I can't run. Drill sergeant. I can't march.
Right, and so I ended up dehydrating, and they missed count in formation, and so they went to breakfast without me, and I went into med call then. And once I did that, I go, hey, can I just get some inserts for my boots? They go, no, let's take a look. So needless to say, I ended up being shipped back home because I had to be home in time for senior year, and got cleared and went back down the next summer and did basic and AIT all together. I went through shakedown twice.
So the worst part of basic training is probably day one, and you did it twice. Good job. Good job.
I did.
Overachiever.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well go big or go home, right?
That's kind of like when I did PLDC. I did it 1.5 times. Anyway,
there you go.
That's another story. Okay, let's get a little bit into, and again, I know the answer to a lot of these questions, but our listeners don't. So what unit were you with, and what was your role?
So when I first joined, I was with the 397th, same unit as you.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2003, they involuntarily transferred me because, they just said, hey, yeah, you're going, which I've been trying to go active duty already anyways.
I remember that. Didn't I give you guys a ride up to the duty station?
I think you did.
I think I did. Yeah. I had to drive you up there that drill weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go.
And no, you're good. And by the time that, actually right after my active duty paperwork came in for mobilization with the 652nd Engineer Battalion up in Ellsworth, I was told, by the way, your active duty papers went through, but I was already mobilized now, so it didn't really matter at that point. So in the 397th, I was actually working as a squad leader, and then going over to Iraq, I went over as a team leader.
Okay.
With half of the squad underneath me.
Gotcha. Now, what do you remember most about your deployment to Iraq?
It was a chaotic mess. We were not equipped properly, we were there in the very beginning.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys went in like 2000. You said 2003. So
Yeah,
in
we were there in
2003,
April
man, it was things were
'03.
just kicking off, and there was a lot of let's say advancements in our safety that hadn't happened yet.
Right, right. We were using uh, for the unit that I went with because I was a like you combat engineer, got reclassified into a bridge builder, a 12 Charlie, and
Okay.
I why I don't know because a couple of our guys threw a couple bays out in the Tigris River, and we guarded it. But then, other than that, our main missions were EOD stuff. You know, we brought in explosives off the streets. We got rid of them. We also did patrols. We did a crowd control mission at the bank where we were paying the former military and saw stuff, you know, in the bank and got to walk around in the bank with a loaded weapon that I'll never get to do it again.
Yeah, probably not. Not legally anyway.
You know, yeah, yeah, and I mean, plus seeing, you know, a pallet of cash.
Yeah, yeah. Just looking at
So we
thinking
had a
one
lot of
handful could
different
set me
things.
up pretty good. Yeah, sorry. We all have that little
Right,
devil on
right.
our shoulder once in a while when you see something like that, and that's where integrity comes in.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, the biggest part about that mission was that was the one time we actually got to try some local food because
Okay,
we actually got to bring back some like it was some chicken and whatever else with it. So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
awesome. Was there any moments while you were over there that just really stuck with you?
There's a lot. You know, the first time we got under fire, you know, but the main one is my Alive Day, December 25th, 2003, right on Christmas Day. We had a 120 millimeter mortar come land, and it landed about 20 feet from me. I was in my sleeping area.
Oh, okay. So you're in your hooch and this landed.
Yep, yep. We had luckily at that by that point we finally got connexes to live in instead of just living in a well, probably would have been better just living under the carport. But because our connexes were not under the carport until after the attack, and
Makes
we
sense.
had four people injured that night, and two were KIA that night, killed in action.
Okay. Now, is this the same deployment or the same attack where Lessick got hit?
Yes,
Okay, because I remember him
yes.
talking about that because I was in Iraq and Ramadi with Lessick, and I remember him
Oh, were you
talking
okay?
about that happening. I was just wondering if it was the same one.
Yeah,
Hey, small world.
yeah. He was actually my squad leader.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting. I need to see if I can get him on here someday. That'd be an interesting
there you
conversation.
go. That would be.
Lessick's a little high strung. I like that guy.
Yeah,
I like that guy.
that he is.
Got to keep up with him. So, how do you think in this time the military has changed you?
You know, the military definitely made me who I am. I mean, I grew up probably a lot more laid back. I'm always doing something now. I can't sit still. I'm trying to work on that, but you know the struggle.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so it's it's given me a drive, and I refuse to fail at something. And if I try and I fail, I will get up and try it again. You know, so it's just given me a driving force, and it's propelled me forward in life.
that's great. So, in your time in Iraq, I know you said you were hit when that mortar hit outside your Connex. Why don't you explain to me a little bit how all that went down and where it hit and how people were injured and or killed, if that's all right.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we were in our sleeping area, and you know, each one of us, a lot of us were getting ready for shift that night because we had, like I said, we had a bunker complex of all the explosives that we guarded, and so my squad was actually on shift that night, and so we weren't there yet. We were just getting ready. So back in then, you know, there was really no internet, so we actually all pulled money together and we bought some internet, and we were trying to, like, I was on my computer trying to call home. Some other people paid for a satellite phone, and my section sergeant, he was actually trying to call home. Fortunately, once we got to the medical site, they let us use their sat phone, and right before he got through to his wife, and it turns out everything that happened was on voicemail, but luckily he told her he was okay before she heard the voicemail.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we got all that, and I was just sitting, like I said, we were in a Connex, there was three of us in there, and I was sitting at my little table that had my laptop on it and trying to call home. Mine never went through, and just all of a sudden lights went out, and I felt like somebody hit me in the back with a sledgehammer. So, being a non-commissioned officer, I was a sergeant at the time. I just got up, went out. We had little huts that we made, basically little shelters
Yeah.
with sandboxes up, above ground and everything. So we all started getting in there, and I made sure all my guys were okay. And all of a sudden somebody said, "You're hit. You're white." I had no idea. I just wanted to make sure my guys were okay
Yeah.
first. So they got me over to the other side of the base. We actually cleared this base. We cleared two bases while we were over there. And so they got us to the other side.
Walk us through what you mean by cleared the base.
Cleared the base where there was nothing stood up there for a military base at all for us, because like I said, we were there in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we first got over to Camp Warhorse, and we started to make sure there was no, mines in the ground, no IEDs.
So you were
no
literally
anything.
clearing, like clear route clearance,
Literally,
kind of.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Literally clearing it, making it so it's livable.
That's what I was assuming
And
you
that
meant,
we're
but I
not,
wasn't sure.
yeah, making it that we're not going to walk around and, get blown up inside and everything like that. And so we got over there. Then they sent us over to Warhorse, where we originally cleared, and because that was the bigger medical area and that had all the active duty. This, where we were at, it was only our section that was there, so it was a very small base,
Okay.
and we separated from the rest of the unit.
And where was Warhorse located?
And it's in Bakuba,
Okay.
and we were just it ended up being called Camp Gabe on the other side of town, because that's where we ended up setting up the other base.
Okay.
For our section. So small area. They sent us over to the bigger one, but there was, the less sick opperman and myself were in the one Connex, and then Sergeant T, he was our section sergeant. He was outside the door of the next door Connex, and it landed basically right next to him. And there was another one, two more people in his Connex. One made it, one did not. And then one in front of his Connex, and he did not make it either.
Wow.
And
that's
they
tough.
were all, yeah, the two that we lost that night were staff sergeants.
Wow. Just like that, life changes.
It does.
So you were hit. What kind of injury did you sustain from this?
I had shrapnel injuries, upper body. I looked down, had a piece of shrapnel sticking out of my arm. I was more mad that it hit my tattoo. It hit my eagle.
You just hit America, buddy.
Right? And so, there was that. There was some shrapnel in my ear, shrapnel in my back. I got my hearing loss. I got a whole slew of things. Turns out when I came home, they could not figure out what was causing all the pain. And they could, no matter what pain meds they gave me, I could not get out of pain.
Really?
And yeah. And the VA kept trying, and they kept doing stuff. And then their pain management clinic they were going to send me to shut down. So they sent me to a private company that's no longer around now, but the doctor's still around. So, and he found out really quick. He said, "You have nerve damage."
Makes sense.
And they had done the EEGs and everything, or EKGs, I guess they are, and it never picked it up. He goes, "It's not going to. The nerve damage is too high up. The EKGs go lower." So now I go in. It used to be every 6 months to 8 months, and they would not allow this procedure more than every 6 months. And the VA really didn't want me doing it as long as I've done it. I've done it since 2006 now. But it's a radio frequency ablation where they burn the nerve endings.
All right.
And it makes so I have no pain for, it lasts about a year now.
So every year
So,
you have to get this done again, so the pain's gone.
yep, yep. As
And
soon
in the
as it starts hitting,
meanwhile,
I
in between those
contact
years,
them
you're
and
running triathlons or Ironmans. So, whatever. It must work.
it works really well. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Once they
I'm just thinking you're
started
talking about this
figuring it
pain
out,
and being able to walk and all this stuff. I'm like, this dude's like a freaking Iron Man.
yeah, yeah. I started running in 2011 finally because, well, when I first came home, I gained a lot of weight. I mean, I was on pain meds. It was a bad situation at home,
Yeah, I feel that.
and eventually I was able to start dropping some weight, and I'm like, I'm not there yet. So I started. I hated running. I did it because I had to in the military, and that was it.
Yep.
And then it became a way of my life. And then that progressed to triathlon and Ironman.
Well, that's quite the jump. I'm proud of you. Was there
No, you're
anything you
good.
struggled with after the military that surprised you?
I think it was just a lot of dealing with everything in my mind, and you still deal with it to this day. Where you just learn it's a way of life. You learn to deal with it. Um,
Yep.
so I planned to be in the military for 20 years, 20 plus years. That didn't happen. They had to send me back to school, so you just regroup and figure out, okay, what's next, and that's how I had to continue moving forward in my life after that.
So you feel like you came home with just as many, and I know this has a bad connotation when people say this, you came home with just as many mental injuries as you did physical.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
And I think that's quite common,
definitely.
but we usually just don't talk about the mental side of things,
No, we don't. We don't. I mean,
which we should.
th- yeah. I mean, this is probably like the first time I've really talked to many other veterans. I don't talk to many veterans at all about it. I don't talk to anybody
Yeah,
about it.
I
You
get that.
know. So yeah.
This podcast and this journey for me has been really eye opening for the amount of veterans that are all going through the exact same thing. Yet we all keep it quiet because we think we're the only ones. We don't want anybody to think we're not tough. We want everybody to think we got it all together. We're alphas. We can do what we need to do. But sometimes we need to sit back and go, you know what? My body needs time to heal. Whether it's physical pain, mental pain, whatever, it needs to be addressed and healed. And since I've started doing this, man, the conversations I've had with people have even just them talking to me has been healing for me. It's
Hmm.
been great. But anyway, what helped you start finding your footing again when you got back and you were dealing with those issues?
I It took some time. Got I actually went through a divorce at that point. Once I got through the divorce, I started working through things. I think when they finally figured out the pain issue, that really helped, because I was able to actually start moving around again,
Yeah,
and not just sit there.
right.
Um, I had quit lifting weights though because that was my thing before Iraq, and after it was too much sitting there and thinking. So I had to find a way to get something going again. I had worked into a new job working with the Department of Veterans Affairs actually. Once I got through school, and the VA sent me back to school for that with voc rehab. But so then to really keep moving forward, because even that time it was a joke. I graduated college, and the night I graduated, I went and got a new tattoo. It was a joke that a bunch of veterans were talking about. Get one in Arabic saying "damaged goods." So I did. I did it. I did it.
Uh, it probably says chicken noodle soup or something. You don't know.
No, no, I took it. I did the research for it
Oh,
first,
okay.
so I took it in there saying, "All right, this is what I want."
Isn't that like all those people with the Chinese letters on their arm that say like cheeseburger or whatever?
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I made sure I did my own
Good
research on
thinking.
it.
Good thinking.
No, I was gonna say, even graduating college, I was just trying to find that footing again and figure out my way forward,
Yeah.
and eventually that led into the fitness side and just
Well,
getting around that community
that
because
leads into
there's
my
sort
next
of like
question.
camaraderie.
And you've gotten into it a little bit, but how did the fitness and endurance training become part of your healing?
That was my way that I could actually shut my brain off. And,
So not so much the
they say
lifting
don't
weights, but more running and stuff was helpful for you.
running, running, eventually biking,
Okay.
swimming. I did it because I had to. I wanted to become an Ironman.
All right.
I don't, if I'm not racing Ironman, I don't swim. But running and biking, they would go back and forth a little bit on which one was my priority, but majority of the time was Ironman or running. That was my go-to to really just lose all my thoughts from my mind.
Yeah.
And I know they say don't try to push the thoughts back. Well, all these years, I mean, I'm coming up on, it was 22 years ago I was over there, and that's all I've done all of the years is push the thoughts back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on that still.
And that's all many of us have done. And again, I'm going to give this disclaimer again, and I'm sure I'll do it a bunch more times. I'm not a shrink. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm just a dude who's been through some trauma in my life. Still at the VA.
Yeah, I am.
And
I've
what
been with the
is
VA now for 19 years.
wow? What is it exactly that you're doing with them?
So I actually, like I said, when I came home, I had to go through vocational rehabilitation with the VA and go back to college because I couldn't. I was in the printing industry before I left. I couldn't do it anymore, and I wasn't able to continue on with the military. So once my contract was up, I was done. They didn't med discharge me, which they should have. But so I sat down with a Madison Area Technical College booklet, and I went through page by page going, what sounds good to me? What do I want to do? I have always been into, even back then I wanted to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, there's not necessarily money in that. So I thought of police, thought of fire, because of everything. But then the issues I was still undergoing in '05 when I came home, right after a year after I came home, those weren't feasible for me. So I kept searching, and all of a sudden I saw a network security degree at Madison Area Technical College. I said, all right, let's do that. It's, type of security, but it's not the police type at that point either,
Yeah.
It could become that because we learned forensics and everything, but so I did that, and then I was graduating from that, talked to the VA more, and I said, listen, 2 years is not going to be enough in this field. I need a bachelor's. So I did an accelerated degree through Herzing University for another 2 years, getting my bachelor's in technology management. And then in '06 or so, no, it was in '09 that I graduated, but I got some different stuff with my computation dates for '06 at the VA. But anyways, I ended up getting a job at the Madison VA. At first, it was just to schedule appointments.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, and I just went to the VA the other day and met with the podiatrist there, and I'm like, hey, I used to schedule your appointments. And so then I had to leave there, and I got an internship with the state of Wisconsin to graduate college, and then about a year after graduating, a job came up at Madison where I could become a tech on the floor fixing computers. So I did that, and I think I started that job in '08, and then by 2010, I was on a regional position for 20% of my time doing security management. And then by 2012, I got hired on full-time for regional. And then from there, about 6 years later, I went national with Office of Information Security doing cybersecurity work. We do all the risk management framework stuff to make sure all of our systems in the VA stay up to compliance with security, and they get their proper authority to operate.
Okay. And that's what you're still doing now?
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now still.
Okay. Well, was there ever point that you realized you had to start taking care of yourself differently? Is that kind of what you're going over before with you? You know, you felt like you were getting heavy and you needed to get back into something.
Oh yeah, there was from day one I needed to, but and I knew I needed to, but mentally I couldn't, and then physically I couldn't either because of all the pain and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, it took me a while. I had during the time of going through all my injuries and all the pain meds and everything like that, I had gotten up to 270 pounds when I was normally 180.
Exact
And
same. My high, I got up to 270.
was it really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
I'm
so
down
then,
like 15, 20 now, depending on the day, but I'm still reaching.
just keep at it. You'll
Yeah.
get it, definitely. And now it's just my way of life now that, there was at one point that I dropped down to being Ironman, running all the time, everything like that.
Hmm.
I dropped it back down all the way down to 177 at one point.
Well, I think the last time I
And
was 177 was when I was at Fort Hood in 03, 04. I was running all the
yeah,
time. Remember we got mobbed when you guys were in Iraq and we went to Fort Drum, then went to Fort Hood.
yep, I
Down in Hood, I was
remember
running
that.
all the time with my buddy Scott, and I dropped down to I think like 175 there, and that was the skinniest I've been in a
Yeah,
long time. It's all been all
right?
uphill
It's
since then.
crazy. It's crazy how that works. And
Yeah,
I mean, since then, well, right now I'm not running at all anymore, but I
and
had
tell
slowed
everybody
down
why
on
you're not
running.
running right now.
So another joy from the military is I got torn meniscus back in '98, also basic training, and and so in 2002 they removed the meniscus, and then I went through Iraq, went through all the combat boot stuff, all the joys that the military gives you,
Hmm.
and then on top of it, once I was out, I kept pushing forward with the running, the Ironman, everything like that. So 46 years old, I just had total knee replacement 6 weeks ago today.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago you were
So yeah,
getting that done. One thing I want to put out there to anybody listening that is in the military still or going to be in the military during basic AIT, wherever you are in your military career, if you get a hangnail, tell the doc about it. Have them write something about it. If you twist an ankle, if you hurt a knee, if something's just out of whack, document it. It will be so much easier when you get done. And if you go to the VA for help just to get it service connected, so you don't have to pay for it out of pocket later on, document everything.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, that's my soapbox.
No, you definitely have to. I'm going through it right now, still on some things, trying to dig up old stuff and some of the
Hmm.
stuff. There's just I know some of the stuff has documentation, and then there's some stuff that it doesn't. I mean, especially while we were in Iraq.
Yeah, while I was going through the VA trying to get stuff approved, some things were so little, and all I had was a note from our medic saying that I saw him about it and what was going on, and boom, approved. But other things could have been 10 times as bad, but I didn't have documentation for it. They're like, yeah, sorry, you can't prove it.
Right. Exactly.
You've been talking about a lot about taking care of yourself physically when you got home.
Yep.
How do you today deal with taking care of yourself mentally?
That's just been another journey. I mean, I went through some mental health therapy treatments at the VA back way back, '05, '06, something like that. It helped. I mean, it made it where I don't know what it did. It made it where I quit dreaming anything. No good dreams, no bad dreams, but I didn't care.
Hmm.
I didn't have dreams.
Yeah.
But so even the mentally was it all related back to burying myself in my job, and that's how I got kept moving up the chain at the VA. I definitely push forward hard on what I'm doing at work. Extreme on my fitness always, that's always helped. That's just my way of coping with my mental aspects.
Hmm.
But then when the running was now ended, it'll come back. But
Yeah.
when that was happening, there's I'm not going to go into the stressful situations at work, but some issues going on at work right now. So digging in there is not helping anymore, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Other life events that had happened, within the last 5 years, I just was feeling a lot of added tension again and anxiety and all those feelings coming back, and dreams were starting again. So earlier this summer, I actually reached out to the VA again, and I actually have been going through some therapy again.
Good for you. Good for you for
And
noticing it and actually calling.
yeah, and then on top of it, I knew I was going to be laid up with my knee and not be able to move. And I go, I can't do that. I can't sit still. So I need to figure out a
Yeah.
way. So it worked out well. It helped me get through it. And I actually last Wednesday I had my last appointment and made really good progress with this
Amen.
therapy. Yeah.
Amen. Glad to hear that. I There's a lot of different ways you can take care of the stress, and a lot of military people, myself included, the way they took care of their stress when they got home was either through the bottle or doing things that are reckless just to get that adrenaline and dopamine hit. But finding something like Jason did here, where run, work out, bike, swim, become an Iron Man, all healthy outlets. I'm not saying everybody has to be an Iron Man, but find
No.
that healthy outlet
And
for whatever it is you're going through.
and I definitely had to have the fun of wanting to go into the extreme adrenaline junkie aspect too. Let me see how
Oh
fast
yeah.
on the bike. Let me see how fast I can go.
Mm-hmm.
I maxed out at 55 miles an hour on my bicycle. Um,
Yeah. No, thank you.
and I was holding a part on the bike so it didn't fall off. And
Yeah.
you know, uh, I've done jumping out of planes. I wanted to do that in the military. I never got to, so did a couple times in civilian life.
I heard the military is the only one that can make jumping out of a plane not fun.
I would
I've
not
never
doubt
done it.
it.
I don't know. That's what I heard.
It is a lot of fun, and I told somebody recently. I said, "Let's go do that." They go, "Why jump out of a good plane?" I said, "It's not good. The door's not going to close."
I always wanted to do it, but I don't know. I'm 50 years old now. I think I'm getting too old.
Never.
I'll probably break a hip.
Let's go.
Maybe. Maybe if I lose enough weight so I don't hit the ground so hard.
All right, all right.
All right. Well, so are you working with veterans at the VA right now, or are you working more just on the computer systems and security stuff?
Really, it's not really. I don't work hand in hand with the veterans. I just work remotely for them. Basically, I work for them to make sure that their data is
Okay, I got you.
secure. So, there's a lot of aspects to the job that I'm proud to work at the VA, and that's why I don't want to leave there,
Yeah.
because of the fact that I know my job is helping them by keeping their data safe.
At this point of your life and this point of your healing, both physically and mentally, what would you say is something that keeps you going, keeps you motivated?
See what's happening, see what's coming next in life. Not only for myself, but my family. My son, he's 21 years old now. He became a firefighter paramedic, so, it's fun watching his journey. His girlfriend is
Yeah.
becoming a teacher. It's fun watching their journeys. I took on being my sister's legal guardian, so be there for her. Just see what
Nice.
happens all around in life with everybody in the family. Family's important, so
It most definitely is.
yeah.
Your family, your blood family, and your military family are
A-
both been huge impacts in my life.
Amen to that.
Yep. So, what would you say to that new troop that's going to join the military today? If you can give them any advice.
Uh, know what you're doing. Know that your purpose behind why you want to do it, and that purpose is going to drive you forward. Not only when you get into basic and AIT and your first maybe a deployment. Hopefully you don't go on one, but no matter what you're doing, it's going to carry you through life, and that purpose is going to drive you to do the best you can do, and
Mm-hmm.
absolutely just be the top of your game for everything that you're out there trying to do and the missions that you're out to accomplish.
That's right. And what about the veteran? What would you say to the veteran that feels like there's no more hope and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Find that hope. You look at that little, take every day's a blessing no matter what. I mean,
Yep.
it's been a hell of a roller coaster, but I wouldn't change it. That's one thing I've told people from day one. I would never change a thing that I've gone through because of this.
Yeah.
It's made me who I am. Just use it as your driving factor to push forward even further.
And you hit on a great point there, and that's one point I tell people a lot about when I give my testimony. Yes, I've had traumas in my life. Everybody's got traumas. Yes, I've had traumas in my life. Yes, I went through it. Yes, some of them sucked. But going through all those things that I went through made me who I am today. And I honestly believe that I went through all those things so I could use that experience to help other people. Once I realized how to help myself, I realized I wanted to help others also. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Exactly. And that's one big thing that drives me still is helping everybody, so as many people as I can help. So even on the side of doing, um, the VA stuff, I got into health coaching, again,
Yeah.
find ways to help any other people. I've even coached other veterans.
Yeah. Do you, sorry, I'm kind of jumping subjects here. Do you live near Sun Prairie?
I live in Sun Prairie.
Or you
Yep.
live in Sun Prairie? Do you belong to any of the legions or anything there?
I do belong to the American Legion, um, which they unfortunately lost their building some years ago.
Mm.
So I don't ever get to go end up doing anything with them. The VFW, been a member there, and then I still need to renew my membership again, or just get a lifetime membership so I don't run into forgetting to renew it. Um,
Yeah, I started going there, and then it conflicted with some other things I had. I think it was a karate or church. It was one of the nights we had something else going on, and the Legion meetings were in the middle of those. So I ended up not joining after a couple meetings. But my neighboring jurisdiction is Union Grove, Wisconsin, and it's called the Bixby Hanson Legion. So the Hanson in Bixby Hanson is actually this guy right here. I'm showing my viewers because the picture of the veteran behind the wall on me is my great uncle Elmer Hanson, who was killed during World War II, and that's who that is named after. So I
oh,
should
that's
probably join
cool.
it since it's my family.
I know the picture you're talking about right now too.
Yeah, that's my uncle Elmer. He was actually killed. Well, what they told the family afterwards, my grandma told me years ago, is that he was getting ready to leave and getting on the plane, and as his plane took off, they said it hit a kangaroo and crashed. I don't know anything else past that.
Wow.
But yeah, make it through a war and I hit a kangaroo. I don't know where he was.
Yeah.
They would have hit a kangaroo, but
Right.
I should check into that story some more. If we don't pass these stories on, we're gonna forget them.
Exactly. Got
Yeah,
to put some stories out there.
it was actually kind of cool. I had his Purple Heart in my hand. My grandma had it years ago and showed it to me, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing in the world to see my great uncle's Purple Heart.
That is
Not even realizing that someday I'd be getting one too. And I've always
right.
said Purple Heart is the only award you get for screwing up. You get hurt, you get an award. It's like a Band-Aid.
Right. It's the award that you don't ask for.
Yes, and it keeps on giving.
It does. It does.
I said
You
that in a
know.
grade school class one time. It's the only award you get for screwing up. And the teacher was quick to correct me because she's like, I don't want the kids thinking that you screwed up or that that's a bad thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. They probably didn't get the joke. But that would require me to think before I speak. And we all know that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No, yeah, what fun is it? What fun is it thinking before you speak?
Another thing on the VFW kind of thing, if you do have one around, it is fun to go there. And ours has the first Wednesday of every month. They have a steak dinner that
Mm.
they raise money, and then the following Sunday they always have a breakfast that you can go in there and get some pretty good breakfast and everything too. So the one
I
here
should
in
go
Sun
check that
Prairie, there's
out.
times I'll volunteer. So,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
should really
so
join these because when I was there, it was a lot of older, well, it was a lot of all older men. Nobody from the Gulf War or GWAT or whatever
yeah,
was belonging here. And these organizations are going to go the way of the dodo if we don't start supporting them and carry them on.
and that's exactly it. Ours also has very few of the younger generation, our generation there,
Yeah.
and they're trying to fix that,
Jason,
but
we're not the younger generation anymore. We're old men.
that's true. We are. Okay, our generation is not there anymore, but
Gen X.
yes.
Well, Jason, thank you for coming on today. It's been great talking to you. Get to hear a little bit about your time in Iraq and your time at home and mental and physical healing that had to take place between those 2 points. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. It was great getting to talk to you again, and we haven't been able to touch base for a while, but your book and your podcast has definitely brought us back together a little bit more. And it's been great getting to
Yeah,
touch base and
it has been
just
getting in
get on
touch
here and
and,
talk
and
to you.
reconnecting with everybody. It's been wonderful.
Yeah,
And
and
I do want to thank you. And for my listeners out there, I just want to let you know, Jason is one of my biggest supporters out there. He is forever following, liking, sharing, whatever stuff about my book, about my podcast, about all these things going on. So a special thank you to you. And maybe one of these days when I'm heading up to the cabin through Sun Prairie, I'll give you a ring. We can do lunch.
sounds good, brother. I'd like
All
that.
right, Jason. Take care, brother. Thanks again.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Jason, thank you for coming on and being real today. Conversations like this matter, not because they're polished, but because they're honest. If you're listening to this and something in Jason's story hit you, you're not alone. A lot of us carry more than we let on. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but it does start with truth. This is exactly why Echoes Unfiltered exists. If this episode helped you with something, share it with somebody who might need to hear it today. If you're carrying something heavy, don't do it alone. Jason, thanks again for coming in and trusting this space. I appreciate you. If you'd like to dig more into my story, you can find my book, Echoes from the Sandbox, now on Amazon. Real talk, raw faith, stay unfiltered, and God bless.